Today, we are leaving our TBR up to chance. Oh. Are you kidding me? Well, I'm gonna continue rejecting Brandon Sanderson. Oh! I'm for sure doing another role. We're doing it. We're starting Lord of the Rings. It's TBR! Are you kidding me? My handy dandy Kindle. I'm future Charity, realizing I didn't film an intro, so here's your intro. I'm in my office and I'm so thankful that you clicked on this video. I'm so excited to show you what I picked out for my October TBR and bring you along in the process of choosing my TBR. If you're new here, I'm Charity. I make bookish content for readers who are just trying to fall back in love with reading or enjoy watching cozy vlogs, hearing new reading recommendations, and seeing someone's reading journey on camera. I'm so excited to give you this new video this week. If you are new here, subscribe, like this video, and join us every single Tuesday where I'm bringing you more content every week, and I would love to have you join my little corner of the internet. Without further ado, let's go ahead and make a coffee and then get into our October TBR. Today, we are leaving our TBR up to chance. Also, if you hear noises in the background, it's because my wonderful husband is mowing our lawn. So, I apologize if you do hear a lawnmower. We are choosing our October TBR today. It's almost the end of September, and I want to be able to just go straight into what we're planning on reading. Here's the thing. At the beginning of the year, I set up my handy dandy reading journal, which is one of my all-time favorites that I've ever created. It is my baby, my pride and joy. Now, I say that I literally have not updated it in a few months. So that's interesting. I made a little game, Rolling for Reading, so that I can take 2 six-sided die and roll to knock off some important books. Let's just do a quick recap of how my reading journal is set up and what I'll actually be rolling for, because I do want to be intentional. Now that we are in the last few months of the year, I want to be intentional with what I'm reading and really trying to knock off some of the books that I've been meaning to get to. First category, we've got recommendations. At the beginning of 2025, I went around to several of my close friends and family, readers who I know would have good recommendations for me, and asked for some recommendations. I have recommendations from several people, and so if I roll a rec, then that means I have to choose a book off of my recommendations from 2025. Next up, I have a reread. Again, I did go through and create a master list of books that I want to reread and books that are on my TBR, so I have choices for both of those. So if I land on reread, that means I have to choose a book from my reread list or a book that I have already read to read again. Then we have author backlist. Okay, now this is exciting because I wrote out all of the authors that I do want to read. There's a lot of them on here, and honestly, this has changed and evolved. I haven't updated this list, so I do have more authors that I want to read, but I'm going to limit myself to choosing from this list specifically. Then we have our TBR. I've gotten through some of them, but not all of them, so I do want to prioritize a couple of them. And one more rule, just because when I was making this, I didn't give myself a free space. If I have any duplicate roles, that means that I get a free choice, and I can choose whatever I desire. I will also say that I do have some arcs that I already have planned to read, so those will be on top of my rolling for reading. I will usually roll 5 times just to give myself a manageable list, and then of course arcs will be on top of that, and I do have several arcs to get through. So let's roll and pick our books for October. I'm so excited. Here we go. Hold on. Pause. Okay, I have 2 die. If you can see them, they're very pretty. I have this emerald green one. I'm gonna make the emerald green one be up and down. And then I have this like really fun tie-dye one. I'm gonna make the tie-dye one be across. So up and down is emerald green. Tie-dye is across. I'll probably forget that. Okay. All right, got 6 for up and down and 4 for across. So we're gonna go down 6 across. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have author. Ooh, welcome to my bookshelf. New location unlocked. These are books that don't fit in my bookshelves in my living room, obviously, because we are collecting so many books, right? Hold our first dice and we are going to choose our first book. For the first roll, we wrote a 6, 4, which is 6 down, 4 across. It's our author. Here's our author backlist. So we've got 2 pages worth of books. Right off the bat, we've got some names that are standing out to me just for the fall vibes are Brandon Sanderson, of course, C.S. Lewis. I haven't read one of his books in a while. Naomi Novik. She writes kind of like moody fantasy. R.F. Kuang or Tolkien, because I do need to get to Tolkien, but I don't think I'm going to use him for this. We have other options. First up, we've got Naomi Novik. I could read Uprooted. I just purchased this. This is both in my author backlist and was recommended to me by my cousin. It could knock off 2 things at once, which is why I'm leaning towards choosing Uprooted. Another author is R.F. Kuang, and I have not read Yellowface, and I also haven't read Poppy War. I've only read Babel and Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, and I know that these are incredible, but I also know that this is going to be starting a series, so I don't think I want to start the Poppy War trilogy just yet. So I think we're going to leave Yellowface as our option for R.F. Kuang. And then for Brandon Sanderson, I just read Warbreaker. I don't want to dive into another Sanderson yet. I might wait till November. We either have Uprooted, which seems to be about a beautiful girl taken captive by a dragon. I don't like reading a whole bunch about the book just because I want to be surprised when I read it. I like to go in fairly blind. And then we have Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, which is a literary fiction. So I don't know 100% what it's about. I do know it's about 2 authors. One of the author dies, and then the other author... Hi! Hi, baby! Oh. Anyway, I do know it's about 2 authors. One of the authors dies, and the other author plagiarizes the deceased author's work. I think I'm going to save Yellowface, not because I don't want to read it, but because I did just finish Catabasis in September, and I want to spread her books out because there's only 5 of them, and I've read 2 of the 5. So I think I'm going to save this for another month. Our first book in our October TBR is Uprooted. I do think it's going to fit like the fall vibes. I'm very excited. Roll number 2 of 5. Okay, we've got 5 down, 6 across. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it would just be all the way to the end. So that's author again. Ooh, we're knocking off authors, let me tell you. All right, we've had our next roll, and it looks like we have another author. Okay, I don't really want to read Yellowface this week, or this month. Let's see what other options we have. Ooh, okay. So, again, we have Yellowface as an option. Like I said, I don't want to read Brandon Sanderson this month, or if I do, I want it to be organic. I am going to keep Yellowface in the running. I do want to continue the Throne of Glass series. I'm on the 3rd book, I believe. I'm on Heir of Fire, and I could listen to this as an audiobook, so that's an option. I think we're going to do Yellowface. Even though I did just read Catabasis, I know this is just going to be a completely different vibe. It's also it's short. It's only like 300 pages. That is our second book in our TBR. Let's see what our next roll brings us. All right, here we go again. Roll 3 of 5. Hey, we're rolling lots of 6s, y'all. For our downs, we've got 6. For our across, we've got the first one. 6-1 is author again. Are you kidding me? I'm crying. My goodness. All right, so we do have another author. We rolled a 6 and a 1, which is, in fact, another author. Now, I don't know if this is just the rolls telling me that I need to read Brandon Sanderson, because I keep getting author and I keep rejecting Brandon Sanderson. Well, I'm gonna continue rejecting Brandon Sanderson because I'm gonna read Heir of Fire. We already had said that this was an option and I can listen to it on audiobook. Oh, it's long. It's like 600 pages. But we're gonna continue the Throne of Glass series with Heir of Fire. I am excited to see where the story takes us, because I do feel like it's just getting started. So I guess we'll see. I am loving this series significantly more than when I read ACOTAR a few years ago, so I don't think it's going to be a bad experience. I just was hoping for a little bit more choices. But listen, this is the game we're playing. We have to follow the rules. We're following the rules with Heir of Fire. All right, that is 3 of 5. So let's see what the next roll possess. We've got roll 4 of 5. I might throw in an extra roll just because we've got an author. I really want to get a different one. Okay. We've got 1, 4, so 1 down, 4 across. This is something different. That's good. All right, so first row. All right, so we've got 1 down, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got our TBR. All right, ooh. This is gonna be a hard one. All right, the next roll gave us finally something different than authors. They gave us TBR. We have our TBR, which I honestly have read a good deal of. Does mean we have less options. First up, glaringly, Lord of the Rings, which is in the living room, and I'm not gonna go get it, but I do own all of the Lord of the Rings books. Then we have Metal Slinger, which I did have on my September TBR, but I just haven't gotten to it, and I don't think I'm going to get to it. We've got Outlander, which I did just find at my used bookstore, but is also just a big read, and also a commitment to a very big series. I had Manacled on here, but Alchemized just came out, so I think I'm gonna read that instead. So I could read Alchemized. I have a copy coming in. That seems like a November read, so I kind of want to save that. Oh, I'm gonna do Jane Eyre. Oh, book 4 of our TBR is Jane Eyre. Okay, here we go. Roll 5 of 5. I really want to get a recommendation, so hopefully we get this. All right. 5 down, 1. Oh, we got TBR. That's fine. 5 and 1. 5 down, and the first one is TBR. So I'm doing another roll. I'm for sure doing another roll. The dice are really just not helping us mix it up this month. We got another roll for TBR. We're gonna go back to the same stack where we have Lord of the Rings or Metal Slinger. I'm still gonna just not get to Outlander yet. I'm gonna follow my gut. I'm gonna say Fellowship of the Rings, guys. We're doing it. We're starting Lord of the Rings. Also, this will be great because I do want to rewatch the movies this year. Book 5 is Lord of the Rings. I did decide to do one last roll simply because I was hoping for something other than TBR. So let's see what the dice give us. Let's go roll our last and final roll to decide our October TBR. Last roll. Roll 6 of 5 because I really want to get a recommendation. Here we go. We're rolling and 6, 3. Is TBR? Are you kidding me? That's the game. That is the game. We're leaving it up to chance, and we have 3 authors and 3 TBR. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Well, our last roll was TBR again. We're gonna add Metal Slinger on our TBR just so we can get to it, and it does seem like a nice little fall read. So Metal Slinger is our 5th and final book of October. Let's go ahead do our final wrap up and add in some books I'm going to be reading on top of the books we rolled for. I'm very excited for how this turned out, although I wasn't expecting to get 3 author choices and 3 TBR choices. We are making the best of it, and so I think that I think October is going to be a really great reading month. So even though you just saw me choose 6 books, I usually have goals of like 8 to 10 books that I want to read, and then this past September I did start exploring the world of advanced reader copies, so I do have some arcs that I want to get to. And I should say, like, even though TBR, the word used, like, I would say hopefuls or like maybe nexts, which I coined by some other creators, is probably the better way to describe this list of books, because yeah, I would love to get to all of these, but inevitably a new book is going to come out, I'm going to discover something new, or my mood is going to be completely different, and so I do have like a little bit more than what I rolled for, but the ones I rolled for are going to be my top choices. So let's first start off with some arcs that I want to read this month, and then get into physical reads that we have. All right, my handy dandy Kindle. First up, we do have Murder in Matrimony. This is published October 7th. This was one of the first arcs that I ever requested, and I didn't realize it was the 4th in a series. So I have spent some time in September reading the other books that came out before it, and honestly, I'm very glad that I did, because they were absolutely such cozy reads. Murder in Matrimony is the 4th in the Lady of Letters mysteries. We're following Amelia Amesbury, who writes for a local magazine under the pseudonym Lady Agony. This is set in the Victorian age. She's a countess in London, and she ends up solving some mysteries related to her paper, and it is so whimsical and so cozy. There's also a bit of a love interest in Lord Simon Bainbridge. He is so swoon-worthy. It is such a fun, lighthearted murder mystery. I'm very excited to read this. I will probably be picking this up before October, but I do have to have it read and reviewed by October 7th. So I definitely want to get to this first in my lineup of arcs. The next arc I want to get to is by an indie author. I actually found her on Instagram, and I do think this book is already out, but she did send out some free copies just to get some excitement around this book. It is literary fiction. It is called The Mark by Anne Keene. It is on Kindle Unlimited. Obviously, you can find it on Amazon. This book follows Gary Hale, who is used to kind of being in the background until he joins the Naval Academy, where he finds a group of friends and explores themes of betrayal, friendship, loyalty, and ultimately Gary has to choose between the man the Naval Academy is trying to force him to become and the person he wants to choose to become. I'm very curious to read it. I love reading indie authors. This is Anne's debut novel, so I'm excited to read it and also see how she grows, because this is her first book, so see how she continues to publish and grow in her writing style. And this is the second one I want to get to because the book is already out and I want to get my review up as quickly as possible. The next arc I want to get to is one I'm so incredibly excited to have the opportunity to read early, and it is The Burning Queen by Aparna Verma. This is the second book in the Phoenix King trilogy. I read the Phoenix King by Aparna Verma last year. Right after it came out, I discovered it was this author's debut novel, and so now I get to read the second book early, and I'm so excited. I have already kind of started it just to get the vibe, and I cannot wait to finish it. I'm already hooked. Again, this is the second book in a trilogy. The first book is called The Phoenix King. It's a sci-fi fantasy with a romantic subplot, and we follow Elena, who is a princess learning to take the throne in a time that war is threatening her country. But in this book, I think we're really going to get to see the consequences of some choices that Elena made in book 1 and some of the fallout from the events that happened in book 1. And I cannot wait. I just know this is going to end on a cliffhanger though, and I'm going to have to wait a whole year to read the next one, so we're going to have to deal with that. But I cannot wait to continue the series. That is the last of the arcs that we have. Those are ones that I have to have done in October. Now let's get into the actual books that I want to read, including the ones I rolled for. First up, we have a pretty short one. It's called called A Tale of Three Kings by Jean Edwards. This is a story that focuses on three biblical figures, King David, King Saul, and then David's son Absalom, and some of the choices that they made. This has been recommended to me multiple times. This is actually a copy that my dad got me. I am trying to read at least one nonfiction or Christian nonfiction book a month, and so this is one that I definitely want to get to and just really dive in and take some notes and maybe annotate. It's also only 100 pages, and the font is pretty big, so I don't think it will take me long to read. Next up, we have The Book Thief by Marcus Zizak. This was on my September TBR, and I honestly just didn't get to it. I'm a little scared to read this one just because I know it's probably going to be pretty emotional, but my friend recommended it to me, and I know it's a modern classic. I just haven't read it yet. It is set in World War II Germany and follows our main character, Liesel Menninger. She starts stealing and collecting books from Nazi book burnings, and it is told from the perspective of death. I think that's why I'm actually kind of nervous to read it, but I do know that it is very popular and considered a modern classic, so I do need to get to it, and it does exude fall vibes. I'm sure it will be heartbreaking, so we'll see how it goes. Those are the books that weren't included in my roll for reading. If you've read any of them, please comment down below what your favorite is. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let's talk about the books that I did roll. First up, we have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This was on my yearly TBR, and I do need to get to it. I honestly don't even know what it's about. I've never even seen the movie Jane Eyre, so I am excited to kind of discover and see what this is about because I know it's a classic, and I honestly can't believe I've never read it yet, but we're gonna read it this month, so we'll see how it goes. Next up, we have Metalslinger by Rachel Schneider. This has been on my TBR for over a year, and I really just need to read it. It is a romantasy, so I am a little nervous that there may be some spice in here, but I will let you know and we'll discover that together. But I do know it has a pretty unique magic system based off of metal, I believe, so I am curious to discover this. I do believe this is also going to be a duology, so next book, Light Wielder, comes out sometime next year. I honestly have no idea what to expect. I don't know if I'm going to like it, love it, hate it. We'll see, but I do want to read it, so hopefully we get to that this month. The next book we have is Heir of Fire, book 3 of the Throne of Glass series. I do just need to continue reading this. I started Throne of Glass in December of 2024, and I'm just now getting to book 3, so I do need to get through it. I am loving it so far. I just have a hard time continuing series because there's always more books that I want to read outside of the series. I tend to meander when I'm reading series. I don't know what's gonna happen because I genuinely haven't seen any spoilers for Throne of Glass. So hopefully nothing gets spoiled and I can continue reading this blind because I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm very, very excited to discover what happens in Heir of Fire. Next up, we have Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I'm continuing my read through of all of R.F. Kuang's works. So far I've read Babel, and from what I understand, it follows 2 authors. Other than that, I really don't know what it's about, and I'm very excited to dive into it. I've heard it's very unique compared to R.F. Kuang's other works. I've loved Babel and Catabasis, so I'm hoping I can continue the streak and also enjoying Yellowface. And then we have Rooted by Naomi Novik. This is a original fantasy I have discovered. I thought it was a retelling, but it's not. An original fantasy that's kind of Grimm's fairy tale vibes. And this seems like quintessential fall for me. Can we appreciate just how beautiful this cover is? We're gonna ignore the buy one get one 50% off sticker that I didn't take off. It seems like it is moody and very fallish, so I can't wait to read this one. Finally, I'm going to pick up Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna do it, y'all. I've been putting it off. I've got to read it. It's just one of those things. I need to get to it. I can't really say that I love epic fantasy without having read Lord of the Rings, so in October, I am at least going to start. I'm not promising that I'm going to finish it, but my goal is to at least start and get through a good portion of Lord of the Rings, specifically Fellowship of the Ring. And who knows, maybe I'll do a reading vlog and take you guys along with me on the journey of reading Lord of the Rings. All right, well, that is my October TBR. We've got 8 books on the table, literally and figuratively, plus 3 arcs. So what is that? 11 books total that I would like to get to in October. Like I said, while I'm calling this my TBR, it's mostly just hopefuls that I would like to get to. This isn't counting any library trips that I may take, any books I might discover along the way in October. So while I would like to get to all of these, it isn't necessarily 100% guaranteed. But I'm gonna do my best to focus and keep true to my list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you enjoyed the gamification of my TBR. I just think it's a really fun way to mix it up. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know what's on your TBR for October so I can add those to any future lists that I may make. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love it if you joined our little corner of the internet by subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, just go ahead and click that like. It's not gonna hurt anything. Just click that little like button, and then make sure you join us back here weekly on Tuesdays, which is when I do post these videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time, and happy reading. Bye!